What good is a celebration of freedom if it doesn't apply to everyone? On July 5th, 1852, Frederick Douglass gave his historic and scathing 4th of July speech where he asked the country that question. And that's a question that so many Americans are still asking on this July 5th, 174 years later. Douglass gave that speech on July 5th and not July 4th because 25 years earlier, on July 4th, 1827, New York had abolished slavery, but Black Americans still didn't experience any real independence. And in fact, slavery in the southern states would continue on for decades more. On top of that, 4th of July celebrations were often overrun with drunk and violent white crowds that weren't interested in sharing the day. So Black communities across the state who believed in the promise of America, but dissenting from their current state from it, created their own celebration on July 5th. And why this piece of history is so especially interesting is because Frederick Douglass, who had every reason to abandon his country, didn't. He stood with his community inside of a tradition of people who had already decided 25 years earlier that they were not going to wait for permission to hold their country accountable. They created their own day of celebration within their dissent, and they stood by it for decades while fighting for a country they believed was possible, but was failing them. That level of commitment and character is rare, and it's what we're all being called to demonstrate now if we truly want to build the vision of this country that we all believe is worth fighting for. In just 121 days, we vote. But what actually sustains people over 121 days or 40 years isn't feeling inspired, because both hope and anger are combustible. They burn hot and burn out. Neither of them has stamina. What gets you through is having something specific to do with your hands. Belief gets built through concrete, controllable acts, not just abstract resolve. In psychology, we call this self-efficacy. It's what determines first whether you'll even attempt the task at all, and then how much effort you'll invest and how long you'll persist when you encounter obstacles. And we are going to encounter obstacles to turn this thing around. So now is the time to be fueling ourselves for that fight. Obviously, you've got to make sure that you're registered to vote and have a plan for how to get there and actually do it, but then pick something else you can do with these 121 days. You don't have to do it all, but pick something and do it well. Knock doors, talk to your neighbors, friends, family members you've been avoiding this topic with, attend protests, voice your dissent, support down ballot voting in local races, support independent voices, and share their work, whether that's ours or many others who are using their platform in this fight. This is the same work that generations of Americans before us have done. Not waiting for the country we want to be delivered to us, we build it.